Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I am Lauren, your host, and I have a 1-year-old son. I started this podcast for any mother who might feel alone in their journey through motherhood. Becoming a mom is hard no matter how you get there, and this podcast is about the mom stuff that comes up in our lives. Listen, enjoy, and connect with us on the Mommy Escape Time podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I am Lauren, your host, and I do have a guest today, Krystin, and I'll play that interview in a minute, but after recording it, I thought that there might be a few things that I need to go over with you. First of all, so Krystin is my Authorized Disney Vacation Planner agent for Dreams Unlimited Travel, and I wanted her on because she works from home, and she has 4 kids. And she works from home, and I cannot understand how someone learns how to work from home. I find it very distracting when my son is home and I have to get things done. The only time I can get things done is when he is asleep or if my husband is watching him. Otherwise, I am like half getting things done, half watching him, and I just don't get things done. So it was very intriguing to me to have Krystin come on and kind of explain what it was like to work from home and take care of her kids. Some of her kids are in school, so she's not taking care of all the kids at the same time and working from home. But she does have, without a doubt, a full-time and beyond a full-time job. So she definitely does work. I did not know before we started recording that Krystin used to be a teacher, and I do have friends that are not teachers. I just want to say that. It's just none of them want to come on the podcast. So I had no idea. I had no idea that before she started this other job, that she was a teacher. So I just want to put that out there that I did not know that. Some of the stuff that we talk about, especially near the end of the podcast where we talk about Disney stuff, is that we maybe talk in about terms that some people don't understand. But the conversation did go about my trip this summer to Disney and what's going to happen with that. Because originally my husband and I had planned, we've only gone to Disney, my husband and I together have only gone to Disney twice, and we've only stayed like 2 or 3 nights, and we've only stayed at one of the higher end resorts. They're called deluxe resorts. And this time that's what I had originally planned, and then thinking about it, I really wanted like a more, I don't want to say family friendly, because I guess all of Disney is family friendly, but there were just other resorts that I think are more suitable for our family at this time. So we're actually going to be staying at the All-Star Sports. So that kind of comes up in our conversation also. And Disney's All-Star Sports is definitely a value resort. So it doesn't have everything that the other resorts have, but I know it's going to fit with my family more, which I can explain when I've actually been there, and I can explain it a little better because I can't really explain something I haven't experienced. So I just want to make sure that you understand that we do talk a little bit about that, because it does get a little cumbersome about what we talk about. So I hope that you enjoy the episode, and here is my interview with Krystin. Hello, and welcome to the Mommy Escape Time podcast. I am Lauren, your host, and today I have a new guest. Today I am joined by Krystin. Hi, Krystin.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So Krystin is actually my Disney vacation travel agent, and she is on today to talk to us about what it's like to work from home. So Krystin, I'm going to turn it over to you a little bit so you could tell our audience a little bit about yourself and about your family.
Awesome. Thanks. So my name is Krystin Turner. I am a Authorized Disney Vacation Planner for Dreams Unlimited Travel, which is a travel agency that specializes mostly in Disney. We do some Universal and a lot of other things, but mostly Disney. And I have been doing this since 2012. I have 4 kids. They all have Disney themed names. We're a big, huge Disney family. We go to Disney several times a year, and our house is decorated in Disney. And I've just been a Disney fan, Disney parks fan my entire life. So we're just big Disney people, and now I get to work with the Disney and Disney World and planning and all of that good stuff.
So, what are the ages of your kids right now?
So my oldest is the only girl, and she's 10. And then I have an 8-year-old, and wait, is he 8 or 9? He's 8, right? Hold on. I can't even think right now.
That's
Anyway,
okay.
and so and then the next one is 6, and then the baby, he'll be 2 in April. So 1 girl, 3 boys, and it's a crazy, crazy life.
I didn't realize that our babies were that close because my son is going to be 2 in April too.
Oh yeah, he's April 2nd. When is
Okay,
yours?
the 29th. Yeah.
29th. So yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was that close. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I guess because during that time I was not planning Disney trips.
Probably. Yeah, and I still was up until the day of and the day after and everything else.
Oh
So
my gosh. Yeah. So we'll get into that part. So let's talk about you working from home. So you didn't always work from home, correct?
correct. So I have a master's degree in education, and I was teaching school. I taught middle school for a couple of years, and I was teaching business and marketing classes because my degree originally was in business and marketing. So I taught like middle school keyboarding and computer applications and their yearbook and things like that. And then when I had my first daughter, I knew that I didn't want to work full time. So I stopped teaching and did a little bit of subbing, and my mom would watch her. And then eventually my second son came along, and then I just I quit doing that. And then I just kind of fell into this gig. So what happened was one of my teacher friends had moved on to a different district, and she had a career day, and somebody came in with their Mickey ears on and explained what they did. And she was like, oh my gosh, I have a friend who would be perfect for that. She goes to Disney all the time. And she got me and connected with her. And then I started working for her agency, and I only worked for them for just a little over under a year before I switched to working with Dreams Unlimited Travel. So I've been doing this since 2012.
And what was it like to make that transition from working in a school and then working at home with
So,
kids?
so I, to be honest, I wasn't real excited about my job with teaching. Middle schoolers were a bunch of jerks, and I was ready to leave. So I was happy to leave the current position. But what I missed the most was the people. And then I say that middle schoolers were jerks, but I also obviously had some kids that I loved. So going from having adult conversation in a group of friends at school to basically working completely at home all alone, I think that's probably the hardest thing, is that I don't get a lot of adult interaction. So now, like when I go to my kids' baseball practice, that I sit there and talk to other moms, and it's like, these are my friends. These are my only people I talk to. And I do a little bit of other chatting with some of my friends that are other agents online most of the time throughout the day. So that's kind of it. The social aspect was a huge deal. And then the schedule wise, I mean, with teaching, you have pretty much a set schedule. Obviously, we all know that teachers work outside those hours, but I mean, I'm always available for the most part. I take my computer with me everywhere, even on vacations. I have my computer with me, and I'm answering emails while we're standing in line for whatever. So and not everybody's like that. But I'm kind of I feel like if I'm not that way, then I'm losing sales or making someone unhappy. So I typically am readily available all the time, except for when I'm sleeping. I mean, that's the truth. I'm taking a shower. So the schedule is totally different to when you work from home. And that's not all work from home jobs, because I know that if you're going to talk about other work from home jobs, it may be totally different.
Right.
But this is just the way that we function as agents.
Right. And it's not like your agents, like how Dreams Unlimited Travel works, is it's not like all the agents are in your area. You're all
Correct.
around the
All of
country.
them.
Yeah.
We even have some international agents. We have Canadian, we have someone in the UK. I mean, they're all over the place. So yes, I mean, we're not I don't have a buddy down the street or anything like that.
Right.
So
So it's not like you're all getting together and,
yes,
talking somewhere like once a month you're, going to the office to all meet.
correct. And no, so we usually have a fam trip, which is once a year. We all meet up, and that's the best. We all just sit around, and you have somebody who knows you, and you just knows what you go through on a daily basis, and we all just sit around and talk for hours and hours about the job. And so, but then they've also become friends. So like last week when I was in Disney for the weekend, it was just me and a couple agents and our husbands. And so, I mean, I've become friends with some of the agents as well. So you can find friends, even though it's not a daily see them type thing. And that's not, I mean, that doesn't happen in every work from home job either, but it's just the way it's worked for us.
Right. So then how do you like budget your time so that you still see your kids and you're working all the time?
It's difficult. It really is. I mean, I try to work throughout the day as much as possible, and then after the kids get home from school, which I still do have the one at home. The other three are in school, and then after school is kind of I'm not working as much, but I still check email. Right now, my older kids, for the most part, being ran around. So right after school, they have to go to their practices or meetings or whatever. So, I mean, I will have to shuttle them there. Like last night, I was at softball practice with my computer in the car, so just waiting, but I was working. And so work-life balance. I mean, my kids will tell you I work all the time, but I'm at home and I get to go to every Valentine's Day party or field trip or whatever, but I always am readily available with my computer at home pretty much all the time. So work-life balance, the weekends, the night, I try to get up a little bit earlier than the kids before I have to wake up the kids so that I can try to answer the emails that came in overnight before they wake up. And sometimes there's something so urgent that I do have to work on it while they're awake. And there's just, I mean, I'm making it sound horrible, but it is a lot. It's working. It's work from home for real.
Right. And obviously your husband helps out and your mom helps out. So you have that
good
support system. Right.
Yeah. My husband works throughout the day too, but in the summer he is a general manager of a baseball team in town. So the summer he's very busy. So you can kind of, if I work hard really right now in this spring and early of the year months where it's typically people are booking a lot of travel. It's called the wave in the travel industry. They're usually booking because they've got their taxes, they're planning for the year. So if I can work really a lot right now through May, then when the kids are out of school, June, July, I can kind of scale back and not necessarily have to try to get new bookings, more like just maintain what I have and keep up with the current clients.
Right. And then, so do you have like a dedicated space that the kids know, like certain times, like that they can't come in, or you just have to manage it?
No, so I do have like a desk with some things, but I usually just have my laptop in the front room working, and I have a little desk, or I have a little area there with like my papers and my pens and all of that stuff. And that's not typical. A lot of the agents, especially the ones that don't have any at home, do have a dedicated workspace that they sit at. And then they kind of get away from when they're done with work. And that's not typically how I work. And I don't know if it's because my age, I'm a little bit younger than a lot of the other agents. And some of them came from traditional travel agencies where they sat in an office and then, and so now they've got to have that. Me, I'm more like, whatever, whenever I get it done.
I have an office at home so that I can do all our bills and things like that. And my office right now has my son's stroller that we take out every day. It has his like Christmas gifts. One of my sister-in-law gave him like a little car to drive. So it's an extension of our garage right now. It's like, so right now, wherever I need to go, like that's where I just have to work at this point.
Right. My dedicated space also has my Peloton in it now. So it's just whatever. And then while I'm doing that, the Peloton, usually the baby is eating everything in there. That's just how we roll.
Yes. And I guess, your kids just know, and you, at least
Mm-hmm.
you have like the age where some kids are older, so they're a little more self-sufficient. I mean, the baby's
Mm-hmm.
not so much, but the other three are, so that kind of helps too.
Yes, big time. So they take care of him. He's to the point now where he'll go hang out with them wherever they're at, and they know when I'm on the phone. And even though sometimes still will be crazy while I'm on the phone, I'm talking to Disney, but they know when I'm on the phone to be quiet, and they're just used to it. Sometimes when we leave for vacation, we get coverage. We get another agent to cover for us if for emergencies while we're gone. And there's to the point now where my daughter's like, you better have coverage for this trip, because she knows she doesn't want me working the whole time. So I'm like, okay, okay.
So then you kind of alluded to it, but you didn't really take any maternity time for
Right.
your third or fourth.
Yeah. So I would have been working, yeah, when I had my third and fourth. So we're called independent contractors. So we don't have benefits and we don't have like time off. So when, free dining was released for right after my fourth son was born, like a week. And there's no way that someone could help me with that, because I have so many people booked in that. And for have someone to try to apply that discount to all of my people, they just didn't have the time because they had their own. So there was no way of getting around it. I had to do it. And so I sat with him on my lap, brand new baby, doing the free dining promotion. So, and I was getting induced and was, feeling just fine and sitting there working. So I take my computer with me everywhere I go. I have a purse that's big enough for my computer. And today I got called from the local news to be interviewed about the coronavirus and how it's affecting travel industry. And they were like, "Where are you? Do you have an office?" I said, "Well, I'm actually in the Chick-fil-A parking lot. I have my computer here sitting in the Chick-fil-A parking lot because I just went through the drive-through, and then I was sitting in there eating and working." And they're like, "Well, we can do it there." So they came and interviewed me in the Chick-fil-A parking lot. But and I say this, and this is not the tip. Not all the agents are like this. There are some that sit there and they, just do their job and that's it. But me, I'm not I just can't be with kids. It's
Right.
a whole different.
Well, and I know on the Dreams Unlimited travel podcast, they joke about it a lot with you, that like you have all
Yes.
these kids and like
Hmm.
not all the agents do. So you just
Yeah.
kind of make it work for what you have to do.
And everybody was so surprised because my first year with Dreams, I started in October, had a baby in November, and was still one of the top producing agents. And they're like, "How did you do that?" Like, I don't know. I just work all the time.
Right. You figured it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is like the biggest benefit from working from home?
Is getting to stay home with the baby, not having to find childcare for him, not having to send him to. I've never had to send my kids to anybody but my mom. So I worked actually in a daycare facility when I was in college, and I was like, I don't know that I ever want to be away from my kids like this. And so that's the best thing. Plus having the flexibility to go to, like I said, field trips and um, like class parties and things like that. So, and I could still do like the preschool type, like play dates and play groups and library time and things like that too.
Yeah,
So,
that's nice. Yeah.
yeah.
So then tell people maybe what a typical workday. I know every day is probably different, but like just kind of like what maybe a typical day might look like for you working and being with your kids.
So, like I said, try to get up just a little bit earlier than the kids. I wake up the kids, try to catch up on the emails that came in overnight. And I try not to go to bed with any emails to answer. So I like to go to sleep with an empty inbox, try to wake up with just a couple emails that came in overnight, try to answer those. And sometimes I have to do dining reservations in the morning too. And then I will do that and then wake up the kids. And then my baby's, he usually still sleeping until like, he sleeps till 9 or 10 o'clock. So And then I can usually catch up on everything that I need to do by 9 or 10. And then that's when I would start like trying to get the new bookings. And basically I sit there and entertain him while working. Like he'll come up with a book, I'll read, do some work. I'll turn on Mickey for him, do some work. He'll play with some toys and then I just work. And then I will typically work out during the middle of like lunchtime, and then just do it until I have to go get the kids. And then after that, I cook supper, usually while I've got the computer there and answering emails that have come in just from me leaving to go get the kids. So I just try not to get too behind on emails, and I try to answer pretty quickly. So, and I mean, it's just answering emails, entertaining the baby, answering emails, entertaining the baby, going to getting the kids, taking them to practice. So,
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about like Disney and being a Disney travel agent, because I know a bunch of people are going to think that, oh, you get to go to Disney all the time and it's for free.
mm-hmm.
And I know it's not.
Right.
So do you have to take all your vacations to Disney, or do you try and spread them out? Do your kids love Disney, you said,
Mm-hmm.
so that's good. And do you just try and go as often as possible? Do you always take the kids?
So no, like this last week, I just went with just adults. I've went on a couple adult trips. We went on just an anniversary trip. Do we go to Disney all the time? And we go several times a year, but we try to do a small or something non-Disney. Like in January, I went to New York. We took my daughter and my mom and my sister. It was just a girls' trip. Went to New York. So, I mean, we don't always have to go to Disney, but sometimes I find that when I take my kids somewhere else where there's not a lot to do, they're bored. Like we've talked about going to Mount Rushmore, and I'm like, that would be fun for them for maybe 2 hours. Like where's the rides after that? What are they going to do? So their expectations and like level of entertainment is they kind of have Disney on the mind. So anything else is just kind of boring for them. But no, I mean, we definitely don't have to, and try to do something non-Disney every year.
Yeah. And it's not like if you go to Disney, it's always the same thing over and over again, because there's
Right.
just so much for them to see.
Mm-hmm. And
And
we always stay somewhere different. There's new stuff being built and new rides opening all the time.
right, and as your kids grow, I mean, I'm taking my son this summer and he won't be able to ride everything. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not even like each year you could have another kid that's able to do different rides.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Most of the older ones are just still haven't rode some of the scarier stuff. So like every time we almost add like a more thrill ride for some of them that they're excited for, and it's just different all the time.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about why someone would use a Disney travel agent. I'll let you talk about it and then I'll say why I use you.
Awesome. So, when you hear travel agents, people are skeptical, but travel agents are typically 100% free. It's if you go to the Disney website right now and price out the package that you're wanting, it's going to be the same price as if I were to book it for you. One thing that we do is discount searching. So once a package is booked, if a discount comes out, which happens all the time, there are discounts for almost every time of the year, then I would automatically apply that discount, assuming that it applies to your room and travel dates and everything else. So discount searching is one huge thing we do. We also help with itinerary planning, like help you book your dining reservations, tell you what fast passes are good, what fast passes aren't, and just give recommendations on those. And then I'm always here to answer all questions. So if you have an obscure question or just a simple question, you just shoot me an email, and you're not going to be calling a call center. You call me or you message me, and I will, provide you the answer. So and the extra help for you along the way. I provide tips. I do a monthly newsletter with information that you need to know, my recommendations, everything that I have learned from my trips, and all that good stuff. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I would say, so I listen to the Dreams Unlimited podcast. That was like, I started listening to it. Like I learned about podcasts like the week that it came out, and that's how I found everything. And so I've been listening every week, and I re-listen and everything like that. And I still don't know everything. Like
Right.
there is just so much information out there that like I don't consider myself an expert, but I do to the like most common person who's like, oh yeah, I just went online and I booked it. And every
Mhm.
time I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, why did you do that? Because it's like I have so many silly like questions sometimes. I always send you things. I'm like, okay, here's my crazy
Sometimes you
question.
stump, yeah, and sometimes you'll stump me, and I either have to call and find the answer or think about it because, like this isn't going to mean anything to anyone else, but your parking question,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't work. Yes.
Right. I know.
So just yeah. So
There was a
that's
time
kind of
that I asked John and Kevin a question for the podcast and they were totally stumped and Tracy couldn't answer it either. I was like, okay.
that's a good question then.
Yeah. But it's just like especially if you're new or like I remember I had originally reached out to you because um we were like planning to go and I was like, well, I don't know if I'll be pregnant at the time. I don't know if I won't be pregnant at the time. I'm like, I don't know how different it's going to be in the middle of the summer while I'm pregnant. Like, I just want someone who's gone through that. And that's how we got connected.
Hmm.
And like, it made the world of a difference because it wasn't that trip, but the following trip when I did go and I was pregnant, I remember you were like, oh, look at this and make sure to do this. And like, there were just a lot of things that you
Yeah.
like, I don't want to say taught me, but I guess that's the best way to say it. So like, even like, I always say on this podcast, like I talk about Disney a lot, and you're the third person to come on about Disney. So, but it's like, it's so there's no way you can know everything,
Hmm.
like So it's just that comfort of knowing, like I have someone to ask a question to, and I don't have to call a 1-800 number and be on hold for an hour. And what if I didn't know it was a release day and I'm on hold for, 2 hours and no one's picked up yet and I don't understand why.
Yep. And then you just don't know what kind of answers you're going to get sometimes with them. Like, especially if you did the chat on the Disney website, like they are never correct. Like,
Yeah.
so it's just easier to just have a quick point of contact. And like I said, I'm pretty much always available to
Yes.
answer. So.
Yes. So why don't you tell people how they can contact you?
So you can contact me by emailing me. And this is kind of a hard email because my name is difficult to spell, but I think you said you'll try to put it in the show notes. It's
Yes.
Krystin, Krystin at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. That's my email. I have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com dash or slash Disney Trip Expert. And that's a good place to message me, and it's also a good place to see what I post. I post things pretty much every day there, like news or just my opinion or a random picture that relates to Disney. So that's another, and you can message me on there if you need to as well. My phone number's on there, so if you ever need to call me, you can. So
Right.
those are the best two ways, I think.
And I'll have those both in the show notes so we can share those. So if you go to there, that's also a good spot. Any last thoughts or anything you want to?
Um, no, I don't think so.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned is no matter what kind of Disney trip you're looking for, like you can help us. Like I
Mhm.
totally shocked you and changed our
Oh
plans
yeah.
completely.
Yeah, see, because you always stay at those deluxe resorts. When you
I
come back and
know.
say you're staying All Stars, I'm thinking, okay, have you seen All Stars? Do you know how to get to the parks from All Stars? You're gonna have a
I know.
car, so
We're gonna have a car
maybe.
and a budget for a minivans.
Yeah. So we just stayed at All Star Movies when we just went with just the two of us,
Right.
and the room was fine, and we Ubered so much that it didn't matter.
Right.
We didn't have to deal with the transportation. I mean, even when the parks were crazy right after they were closed, we just hopped in an Uber. So I can't sit there and say that the transportation was bad. And the rooms have recently just been redone and they were super cute. And I've even said that my kids would love sports because the All Star Sports, they've never seen it. And I just think that they would really like it because they're big into sports. So, but we would
Yeah.
need 2 rooms. There's no way we could
No.
fit in one.
No, and I mean, my son, he just loves to run and run and run. And all I keep thinking about is I'm like, if I'm in the Contemporary, all I can run in is in the
Always.
parking lot and hallways.
Hmm.
Like at least at All Stars, first of all, I don't have to feel bad because my child like is not quiet. I'll just say that.
Hmm.
So if he's running outside, like at least I can feel like,
Oh
all right,
yeah,
well,
and there's playgrounds there,
right.
and like yeah, for kids they are great. But My only thing is with the deluxe is this the convenience.
Right.
Obviously, kids are going to like the appealing and the look of the value more.
Right.
So
Yeah, so that's why. And I don't want him to get used to every time we go, starting at 2, that he's going to think every time we go, we're going to be
right,
seeing the fireworks every night. So I want to ease him into that so he doesn't expect that every time.
definitely.
So,
That
all
makes
right.
sense.
Well, thank you very much, Kristen.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. And everyone else, we will talk to you next week. Well, that was my interview with Kristen, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will have a link for her email and for her Facebook group so you can contact her either way if you are interested. And I highly, highly, highly recommend, even if you think that you know what you're doing in Disney, just have that one person of contact that you can have. It's so important. So please contact Kristen. She's excellent. I also totally forgot to mention in the beginning part that we also talk a lot about another podcast, the Dreams Unlimited Travel podcast, and that is the travel agency in which Kristen belongs to. And I have listened to that podcast since it first started, I think back in 2016 or 2015, it started. And so I also, if you are going on a Disney trip, I do recommend that also. They have way more subscribers and way more viewers and everything like that. They're also on YouTube. So Dreams Unlimited Travel, if you also want to check them out. And of course, I end every episode with something that I love about my child. And currently, one of my favorite things about my son right now is that he is trying to say the word turkey. And when he says turkey, it's just so unbelievably cute. Again, I try and always get it on here, but the voice clips just don't sound as well, so it never works out. But he says it like turkey, and it's so cute. Ugh. So we actually, everything that we give him, we just say it's turkey so that he eats it. So anyways, I hope you all have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.